The corridor outside Princess Kyra's private chamber glowed with soft silver light. It looked peaceful, elegant, calm. But Oren Vale felt none of those things. He stood alone with his toolkit, staring at the sealed door in front of him. The royal yacht of the Let Harry species was famous for beauty, grace, and terrifying levels of security. Every surface shimmered. Every wall hummed softly with hidden power. And today, he was alone inside the princess's private quarters. He swallowed. "This is just maintenance," he muttered to himself. "Fix the stabilizer crystal. Don't touch anything sacred. Don't accidentally start a war." Inside, the room felt like stepping into a living star. Metallic tapestries shimmered along curved walls. Soft light drifted through the air like glowing dust. The scent was floral but charged with static, the Let Harry version of lavender, maybe. Or maybe a warning. He knelt beside the damaged stabilizer crystal. It flickered weakly in the corner. "That's my job," he whispered. "Only that." Then he saw the data pad. It rested on the princess's curved desk. Open. Glowing softly. He looked away. He looked back. "It's probably nothing," he said. "Just a royal schedule. Or alien grocery lists." He stepped closer. One glance. Just one. He tapped the screen. The file opened. And his world tilted. His name was written in clear, careful human language. Oren Vale. His breathing stopped. The entry described him. Not as a technician. Not as a worker. But as something else. He remains calm even when machines scream. "I admire that. I admire him." Oren stared. He scrolled. "If I could choose my future freely, I would choose him." His hands trembled. "This is illegal," he whispered. "In at least 5 galaxies." The door slid open. Princess Kyra stood there. Blue skin glowing softly. Long elegant ears twitching in shock. Her eyes moved from him, to the datapad, to the page. Silence exploded between them. "You read it," she whispered. "I can explain," Oren said quickly. "Actually, I cannot. But I can panic very professionally." Her skin darkened in a deep Let Harry blush. "That was private." Yes, it was. Extremely private. Legendary levels of private. Her fingers trembled. "That is not how you were meant to discover it." Oren gently placed the data pad down. "I didn't mean to invade your thoughts," he said softly. "But I'm here now." The air between them felt charged. Not angry. Vulnerable. Her voice was barely steady. "I wrote those words because I cannot speak them openly. A princess does not choose her own future." "You should," Oren said without thinking. Their eyes locked. Then the ship trembled. Lights flickered. The floor vibrated. Oren blinked. "That's not emotional tension. That's mechanical failure." Kyra's ears lifted in alarm. "Is it dangerous?" "Only if gravity flips and we hit the ceiling." "Gravity flips?" "Sometimes." The ship shook harder. Oren grabbed his toolkit. "Come with me." She didn't hesitate. Middle, the test of loyalty. They rushed into the power matrix chamber. Blue energy pulsed wildly inside crystalline rings. Oren moved fast. Focused. Calm. Kyra stood beside him, watching. "You are not afraid?" she asked. "Terrified," he replied. "I just hide it behind sarcasm." The core flared. He adjusted the conduits. Energy rerouted. The shaking slowed. The ship steadied. Kyra let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "You saved us," she whispered. Before Oren could respond, heavy footsteps echoed. Captain Thalen entered. Tall. Armored. Silent. His eyes moved from the stabilized core, to Oren, to Kyra standing far too close to him. "Princess," Thalen said stiffly. "Are you harmed?" "No." His gaze sharpened. "Technician. Why are you here?" "Because the ship was trying to become modern art." Thalen did not smile. Another tremor hit, smaller this time. "The communication grid is failing," Thalen said. Kyra looked at Oren. Will you help? Of course. Thalen did not like that answer. They reached the communications chamber. Relay crystals sparked dangerously. Oren crouched. Kyra stood near him again. Thalen hovered like judgment itself. Oren worked carefully. The crystal flared bright. Kyra stumbled slightly and instinctively grabbed his arm. For 1 second, the world disappeared. Only her eyes remained. Warm. Steady. Real. The crystal dimmed. Stabilized. Oren stood. All fixed. The ship will stop screaming at the universe. Kyra smiled at him, openly this time. Thalen saw it. And he did not approve. The summons. The next morning, Oren was escorted to the High Regent's chamber. Kyra stood beside her father. She looked calm. But her ears were tense. The Regent's voice echoed. You read her private writings? Yes, Oren admitted. By accident. Curiosity is a dangerous human flaw. And you return her affection. Oren didn't hesitate. Yes. Silence filled the chamber. The Regent studied him. Let Harry tradition requires resonance compatibility before any bond may form. Oren blinked. Resonance. A crystalline device rose from the floor. 3 glowing rings. Kyra stepped forward. So did Oren. The ring spun. Energy brushed against his thoughts. He felt everything. His fear. His doubt. His admiration. His protectiveness. His ridiculous happiness when she laughed. Light burst from his side. Kyra's side glowed equally bright. The rings aligned. Locked. The chamber gasped. Compatible, the Regent declared. Kyra's breath shook with relief. Oren almost fainted. This does not mean immediate union, the Regent continued. But it means your bond may be explored without opposition. Thalen stiffened. Kyra smiled at Oren. Soft. Certain. The universe felt very small in that moment. Ending, a future that chose them. Later, they stood together on the observation deck. Stars drifted beyond the glass. Kyra leaned beside him. You were afraid of entering my quarters, she said. I still am. You faced my father. I'd rather face unstable reactors. She laughed, bright and free. Then she grew serious. I'm glad you read my journal. Even the part about my chaotic hair. Especially that part. Silence settled, peaceful this time. Not fragile. Not uncertain. Real. The ship hummed gently around them. No alarms. No tremors. For now. Oren looked at her. I don't know what happens next, he said. Neither do I, she replied. But we face it together. Her ears lifted. Yes. Together. Above them, distant stars shimmered. The galaxy was vast. Dangerous. Full of rules and traditions and impossible expectations. But a human technician had stood before royal judgment without fear. And a princess had chosen honesty over silence. Whatever came next, politics, danger, enemies, they would face it side by side. And for the first time in his life, Oren Vale did not feel like an accidental character in someone else's story. He felt chosen. And somewhere in the endless dark between stars, the universe approved. Beginning, the calm before the political storm. The stars outside the observation deck no longer felt peaceful. They felt like witnesses. Oren stood beside Princess Kyra, watching distant suns burn in silent beauty. Only hours ago, they had passed the resonance evaluation. The High Regent himself had declared their bond compatible. That should have meant relief. Instead, the air felt heavier. You are thinking too loudly, Kyra said gently. Is that a let Harry ability? Oren asked. No, it is a human expression I learned. He smiled faintly. I was thinking that the galaxy probably doesn't like surprises. And we just became one. Kyra's ears tilted thoughtfully. You are correct. The Let Harry High Council does not appreciate unpredictability. As if summoned by the universe itself, the ship chimed. A sharp, official tone. Kyra stiffened. That is not a friendly signal, she said. Oren felt his stomach drop. The chamber doors slid open. Captain Thalen entered, armor polished, expression unreadable. "Princess," he said formally. "The High Council has requested an immediate transmission. They are aware of the resonance result." Oren blinked. "Already?" "Nothing remains secret in politics," Thalen replied. Kyra straightened her posture. "Royal. Calm. Prepare the council chamber," she said. Thalen's gaze shifted briefly toward Oren. "They have specifically requested that the human be present." Oren swallowed. "That sounds bad." "It is not good," Thalen answered honestly. "The council speaks." The council chamber was vast and cold. Holographic projections flickered to life, forming tall Letari figures in flowing ceremonial robes. Their eyes glowed with authority. 7 council elders. Watching. Judging. One stepped forward. "Princess Kyra," the elder's voice echoed. "Reports confirm a successful resonance alignment with a human technician." "Yes," Kyra answered steadily. A murmur rippled through the projections. "Humans are impulsive," another elder said. "Emotionally unstable. Politically inexperienced." Oren raised a finger slightly. "I'm standing right here." Thalen coughed. Kyra continued calmly. "He stabilized our ship during gravitic collapse. Twice. He has proven capable under stress." "This is not about mechanical skill," an elder replied sharply. "It is about legacy, influence, power." The lead elder's gaze shifted directly to Oren. "Human. Why should we allow this bond to continue?" Oren felt every instinct screaming to say something clever. Instead, he chose honesty. "I don't want power. I don't want influence. I don't even want political meetings." A few guards exchanged glances. He continued. "I care about her safety. That's it. If the galaxy threatens her, I stand in front of it. That's the only qualification I claim." Silence. The elders studied him carefully. One finally spoke. "Words are easy. Loyalty must be tested." Kyra's ears angled sharply. "He has already been tested." "Not by the galaxy." The lead elder's voice hardened. "A diplomatic summit approaches. Rival factions attend. If this human is to remain at your side, he must survive public scrutiny and potential hostility." Oren blinked slowly. "So this is a trial?" "Yes." The projections flickered. "You will arrive at the Virex conclave within 2 cycles." The chamber went dark. The council was gone. Middle, the summit of hidden enemies. 2 days later, the royal yacht exited hyperspace above Virex Prime. The planet shimmered with metallic cities and floating spires. Oren stood beside Kyra as shuttles escorted them toward the diplomatic station. "You look tense," Kyra said softly. "I'm about to meet alien politicians," he replied. "Of course I'm tense." Captain Thalen approached. "Security intelligence suggests potential protest from the Zareth coalition." "Protest?" Oren asked. "Political aggression disguised as insult," Thalen clarified. "That sounds exhausting." "It is." The shuttle docked. Doors opened. A massive diplomatic hall stretched before them. Delegations from multiple species filled the chamber. Tall crystalline beings. 4 armed armored diplomats. And near the center, the Zareth. Their skin was deep crimson. Their eyes narrow and calculating. One of them stepped forward, clearly their representative. He smiled. But it was not friendly. "So this is the human," the Zareth envoy said loudly. Whispers spread. Kyra stood tall. "Yes." The envoy circled Oren slowly. "A technician. A mechanic. And now candidate consort to Letari royalty." Oren resisted the urge to hide behind Kyra. "I prefer overqualified repair specialist," he said calmly. A few nearby delegates chuckled. The envoy's smile thinned. "Humans are fragile. Short-lived. Emotionally reactive. Also persistent," Oren replied. The envoy leaned closer. "If instability follows this union, The Zareth will not remain silent. Kyra stepped between them. Threats are unnecessary. The envoy's eyes flickered. I do not threaten. I predict. And then he walked away. Thalen moved closer to Oren. You handled that better than expected. Low bar? Oren asked. Extremely. The real danger. The summit continued. Speeches. Formal dinners. Political tension hidden behind polite smiles. But something felt wrong. Oren noticed it first. Small details. Security drones slightly misaligned. Energy fluctuations in the station's power grid. He checked a wall panel discreetly. Readings spiked for a second. Then vanished. His heart dropped. Kyra, he murmured quietly. The station grid is unstable. Accident? She asked. I don't think so. Across the hall, the Zareth envoy watched them. Smiling. Suddenly, the lights cut out. Total darkness. Gasps echoed. Emergency alarm screamed. Then gravity flickered. Delegates stumbled. Panic erupted. Thalen drew his weapon instantly. Protect the princess. Oren grabbed Kyra's arm as the floor tilted violently. This isn't random, he shouted over the chaos. Someone overloaded the gravitic stabilizers. Energy flared at the far end of the hall. An explosion rocked the chamber. Debris fell. Security forces scrambled. The Zareth delegation retreated suspiciously fast. Oren's mind raced. They're creating instability to blame the human bond, he said. If this summit collapses, they argue I'm the catalyst. Kyra's eyes widened. You believe this is intentional? Yes. Another explosion shook the station. Oren looked toward the central reactor access corridor. I can stabilize the system. Thalen grabbed him. It is too dangerous. If it collapses, the summit fails. The council sees chaos. The Zareth win. Kyra stepped closer. Then we go together. No, Oren said immediately. You're the target. And you are not, she replied firmly. Silence. Thalen hesitated. The station trembled again. Decision time. Go, Thalen said finally. I will secure evacuation routes. The reactor corridor. Smoke filled the air. Emergency lights flickered red. Oren and Kyra ran toward the central reactor core. Panels sparked. Metal groaned. You should not have to prove yourself like this, Kyra said between breaths. Maybe not, Oren replied. But humans don't back away when something needs fixing. They reached the core chamber. The main gravitic array pulsed wildly. Someone had manually overridden safety protocols. Sabotage, Oren muttered. He moved to the control interface. Energy readings were critical. Kyra, he said carefully. If this overloads, the entire station could implode. She stepped beside him. Tell me what to do. He glanced at her. You trust me? Completely. He inhaled slowly. Then reroute auxiliary power to secondary coils. I'll reset the core manually. She nodded and moved without hesitation. He climbed toward the central access ring. Heat blasted his face. The core flared bright white. He ignored fear. Focused on sequence patterns. On alignment. On balance. Behind him, Kyra worked the control panel with precision. Auxiliary power redirected, she shouted. Good. He reached into the exposed conduit and locked the manual dampener in place. The core screamed. Then steadied. The violent shaking slowed. The red lights faded back to soft emergency blue. Silence fell. They had done it. Ending, A bond proven in fire. Security forces regained control of the station. Investigations began immediately. Evidence pointed toward external sabotage. The Zareth delegation denied involvement. But they left quickly. Too quickly. Hours later, the High Council reconvened via transmission. This time, their expressions were different. Less judgment. More respect. You stabilized the summit, the lead elder said. Oren nodded tiredly. Someone had to. Kyra stood proudly beside him. The human acted without hesitation to protect not only me, but every delegation present. The elder studied Oren. You risked your life. Yes. Why? Oren didn't look at the council. He looked at Kyra. Because she was there. Silence filled the chamber. Then, the trial is complete, the elder declared. Your bond has been tested under danger and political hostility. It remains stable. Another elder spoke. The council will not oppose the continuation of this union. Kyra exhaled softly. Oren blinked. Does this mean fewer assassination attempts? Unlikely, Thalen muttered. A few council members almost smiled. The transmission ended. Later, aboard the royal yacht, Oren stood once again beside Kyra on the observation deck. But this time, the stars did not feel like witnesses. They felt like allies. You could have died, she said quietly. So could you. She stepped closer. You chose to stay. I'll keep choosing that, he replied. Her ears lifted gently. The galaxy tested us. And? He asked. And we did not break. Oren looked out at the endless universe. Politics would continue. Enemies would watch. The Zareth would not forget. But something had changed. He was no longer just a technician. He was not an accident. He was not a mistake. He was the human who stood in fire for a princess. And in the vast silence between stars. That mattered. Kyra rested her hand in his. No more secrets, she whispered. No more accidents, he agreed. Ahead of them, hyperspace opened like a glowing path. Their journey was far from over. But now the galaxy understood something clearly. Humans do not retreat. Especially when someone they love is at stake. And this time, the galaxy was watching with respect.